to Keepin Up with me, Christina Griffin Jones.
And me, JJ Jones.
Where we talk about all things sumo and in between.
Yeah, a lot of in between. And this time, we're talking about something that's precious, right? Yeah. Something that's super, super important to us. We started a foundation, right? What's the name of it, Christine?
It's called Maximum Effort Foundation, with the mission to be able to remove barriers that kids, teens, and adults face in participating in martial arts, like all martial arts, not just sumo. And this is especially for kids, teens, and adults from marginalized communities and identities. And we are going to do that through mutual aid and advocacy. JJ, can you talk a little bit about what inspired you to start this dream project?
Well, growing up, I didn't have a lot of money. Times were rough, but I kind of looked into a few things. I started martial arts pretty early, and first we couldn't afford it. It was a difficult life for me, right? Because all I wanted to do was be Bruce Lee. That's it. That's all I wanted to be was Bruce Lee, right? Because my wushu in my heart was better than your wushu, right? And then of course you get the Last Dragon and all of those things, right? You start seeing a little bit of representation. Yeah. When I was I think 5, I started off at Taekwondo, right? And this Taekwondo spot was dope. It had Bruce Lee pictures all over the place. And it was really inspiring, super, super inspiring, especially at that time, right? Yeah. I'm a early 90s baby, right? Born in the 80s, raised in the 90s. So Power Rangers was my jammy jam. VR Troopers was my jammy jam. All of those things, Thundercats, all of that, just fighting and being strong, physically strong. But then we ran into a couple snags. And the snags were, we couldn't afford it. We legit couldn't afford it. So after about a couple of months, I had to quit, right? And it, you grew up with parents that couldn't afford to give you everything,
yeah,
right? And they don't want to tell you that they can't.
No, they don't.
So they go around. They go around it every so often. You're like, oh, this is cool. Oh, we're gonna do this, and then for some reason you just stop going, and you're like,
yeah.
Why am I not going to Taekwondo, right? And from there, Allah has His ways. God, whatever the power that be is for you guys, or non, or whatever, universe, or whatever hippie shit.
I like that.
Oops. I found another way, and my way was that there was a Boys and Girls Club in Chula Vista, and they had a judo program, and I was able to go in and do judo for a pretty reasonable rate. It was $20 a month, which was still way too much, right? And then at a point, we couldn't afford that. So I just kind of snuck in for a while.
Hell yeah, JJ.
And then eventually, I just found, I talked to the sensei, and sensei was like, don't worry about it. We'll work it out. We'll figure it out. You give to the gym. And that's always been my thing. Yeah. If you can give and just not take, then it's worth it,
Heck
right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what, sumo back in the days, right? I can't feed this giant kid. He needs to go become a sumo wrestler, right? Or there's so many different ways that situation happens, where as long as you're trying to get better and pursue perfection, then it all kind of works out, right? And don't be selfish with your time, because they're not selfish with theirs, right?
That was absolutely freaking beautiful. And it just affirms, right? like how much, why I love you, and also, just your huge heart for community, for all sports, and always making sure as many people as possible can participate. I love that. When you were talking about, kind of those hard, those ends meeting, I definitely was like that weirdo kid that was like, just shameless about like asking for scholarships and stuff.
Right.
But also how, I think about in the time, how, heartbroken it was, how heartbreaking, how heartbreaking it is when you learn that there aren't any scholarships and you're stuck, or there's scholarships for coming, but there's not scholarships for the other part. I'm a mermaid always, and I remember, there being gaps in me learning how to swim sometimes because of, just things being tight financially. And also how weird it is as a kid in class and the teacher in the class pulling you aside and being like, yo, tell your mom to pay us. like damn, like I'm 7G, like all right.
It's rough.
All right. And wanting so much, right? Like the focus, the focus in 2023 and 2024 is martial arts. But I know for sure that Maximum Effort Foundation, in our, don't want to get too further into the future, but definitely wanting other sports to be involved in the future as well.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the future,
Yeah.
In the future, it would be great to be set up in a school, being able to support ourselves for maybe mobile mats or setting up mats at multiple different schools, and being able to, once again, I don't want to just use people, right? I want to be able to pay the people that I send to schools. I don't really have the capacity to be at multiple schools, but I have a lot of really dedicated students that can. And if I could pay their gas, a little bit of their time, and they can afford to actually spend that time to do that, that'd be great, right?
Heck yeah.
Like in the future, if we could be set up in, at least I can name a few high schools and middle schools in the area of City Heights alone that could benefit from having a martial arts program that kind of help the kids see that there's another way. There's another way,
And just the way that martial arts just really help you have like an additional community, right? And also just like a ownership and knowledge of your body and your strength. I know the future for Maximum Effort Foundation, if you are like a brown or black kid or like a poor kid, you already know in your communities there's always these pipelines to things like football, right? Things like basketball, and those are really high stakes, to get into the pros and but unfortunately other programs like wrestling, like other martial art programs, they just don't get that funding the same in a school district that those programs do. And on the advocacy side of Maximum Effort, I definitely want us to really lend support, lend voices to making sure that funding goes to things like wrestling, newer programs, right, like martial arts programs come into schools, and as well as really supporting the advocacy that's happening on the ground to make sure that every kid, every teen, no matter who you are, your identity, your faith, your expression, that you are able to participate, go hard, and win. And yeah, everybody deserves that, because I mean, the way your self-esteem goes up when you are participating in a sport, win or lose, the fact that you're putting yourself out there and you believe in yourself, that's a gift I really want everyone to be able to feel and experience.
Yeah, and So, Maximum Effort Foundation is backed by a fiscal sponsor. And the fiscal sponsor is March for Black Women, San Diego. They believe in our mission, and I believe in their mission. So if you donate, you will be able to get a tax deduction, obviously, because it is a 501c certified nonprofit. So
Heck yeah.
your money is going in a good spot. If you can donate, awesome. If you can't, spread the word, right? Little ripples eventually can make a giant wave.
I love that. Nice.
We will leave a link in the description. So if you have any questions or anything along those lines, there will be a link there. You can always reach out to us on Instagram, our email. Everything is honusumo, honusumo@gmail.com, or honusumo on Instagram. Direct messages really come directly to us.
Yeah.
So go ahead and don't be shy. Closed mouth doesn't get fed.
Yeah.
Bye.
Peace.